Welcome back to my channel. My name is Miriam Strauss. Today we're talking about 6 career mistakes that you should avoid making in your 20s and 30s if you want to get rich. First is working 9 to 5 for someone else. Now, don't get me wrong, a stable job can provide a steady income and benefits and a sense of security. However, in today's rapidly changing economy, it's becoming increasingly important to diversify your income streams and take control of your financial future. Let's talk numbers for a moment. According to recent studies, the average income from a 9 to 5 job may not be enough to keep up with the rising cost of living, especially in urban areas. The cost of living, including housing, transportation, healthcare, and other essential expenses, has been steadily increasing. However, wages in traditional 9 to 5 jobs do not always keep pace with these rising costs. For example, in 2023, US companies increased salary budgets by only 4%, but this was less than half of the current annual inflation rate of 8.5% at the time. So, while salaries are increasing, they are not increasing at the same rate as inflation, leading to a decrease in the real or effective income of many workers. So even if you get a 4% raise, your salary has less purchasing power than it did the year prior, and you're effectively making less money. And if you don't get any raise, then that's obviously even worse. This disparity can result in financial strain for individuals relying solely on a single 9 to 5 job as their only income source, particularly in expensive urban environments where housing costs and other expenses are very high. Plus, relying solely on one source of income leaves you vulnerable to layoffs, downsizing, or economic downturns. For people who have recently been laid off, finding a new job is now much more difficult than it was only 1 to 2 years ago. Therefore, if you don't find another income stream to grow your money, you leave yourself very vulnerable to extreme financial instability. That's where the concept of multiple streams of income comes into play. By diversifying your income through side hustles, freelancing, entrepreneurship, you're not only increasing your earning potential, but also creating a safety net for yourself and your family. Another key aspect to consider is wealth building. While a 9 to 5 job can provide a steady paycheck, it often doesn't offer the same opportunities for wealth accumulation as other ventures. You know, more risk, more reward. Investing in assets such as real estate, stocks, or starting your own business can significantly accelerate your path to financial independence. Yeah, it's not as stable and secure as a 9 to 5 job, but the upside can end up being a lot greater. For example, when you invest in assets that increase in value at a compounded interest rate over time, or when you build a side business that has the potential for you to scale up the business and produce multiple times the revenue over time, your opportunity to increase your income eventually becomes much greater than it does with a simple 9 to 5 job. Because if the 9 to 5 job won't even give you enough of a raise to match inflation year to year, then it's definitely not going to give you enough of a raise to compound upon itself multiple times over. Now, I'm not saying that everyone should quit their day jobs tomorrow. It's all about finding the right balance and taking calculated risks. Whether it's starting a side business, investing in the stock market, or income generating real estate, the key is to take proactive steps towards building a brighter financial future that isn't ultimately dependent on your continuously working a 9 to 5 job for the rest of your life. For example, I work a 9 to 5 job that I actually really enjoy, but I put money aside from that job to invest in stocks, real estate, and even to invest in my YouTube channel with the hopes that over time those other income streams will also contribute to a much greater sense of financial stability for me and my family. I would ultimately like to get to a position where I don't depend on my 9 to 5 job to maintain my lifestyle, but maybe I choose to continue with it just because I enjoy it. That way, I'm not dependent on it, and I feel more in control of my finances and career trajectory, which should generally lead to greater all satisfaction and fulfillment. Number 2 on our list is spending money on objects that lose value over time. Now, spending money on these types of objects versus investing in things that retain value can be a very poor career decision, especially in your younger years. You might be wondering, well, Miriam, that may be a poor financial decision, but how is that a poor career decision? Making poor financial decisions early in one's career can have a ripple effect on a career progression. Accumulating debt or living beyond one's means due to excessive spending can limit opportunities for career advancement or opportunities to become an entrepreneur and take a risk and go in a different direction with your career. For example, you may never start that business you dream of because you are constantly living paycheck to paycheck and you don't have any money saved aside or any money to invest in your small business. So you end up wasting your life in a career you hate because you spent so many of your early years just throwing money away that could have been used instead to build the life and career you truly wanted, or at least to build some foundational sense of security so you can take more calculated risks. Financial stress may also affect job performance and mental well-being, further hindering your career growth. In the early stages of one's career, financial resources are often limited. Spending money on depreciating assets like cars, luxury brand items, unnecessary clothing items at fast fashion brands, unnecessary home goods, random Amazon purchases, recurring subscriptions, and many other expenses can quickly deplete your resources without much to show for it in the end. These are all costs that lose value over time, and such spending hinders your ability to invest in assets that appreciate over time, such as stocks, real estate, or building your own business. So without accumulating assets that retain or even appreciate in value, individuals might find themselves relying on their income for their entire lives, unable to retire comfortably or pursue their passions without financial constraints. So a lack of financial security will mean that you also end up spending more years working, forcing yourself to continue in a career when you otherwise might have been able to retire early if you had allocated all of that money to savings, investments, or real estate, or building other passive income streams instead. Number 3 on the list is not considering the value of employment benefits in a job. This is a really big one. Now, you may already know that employment benefits often include health insurance, retirement plans such as 401k matching contributions, paid time off, vacation days, sick leave, etc., flexible work arrangements, bonuses, stock options, professional development opportunities, gym or fitness benefits, and other benefits. Ignoring these benefits means potentially leaving a significant portion of your compensation on the table. Many job seekers focus solely on the salary offered by a job without considering the full spectrum of benefits provided by an employer. They might be more focused on getting a job that pays a minimum of $70,000 a year, even if it offers no benefits, no 401k, no paid time off, etc. And they will overlook the job that pays $65,000 per year but offers full benefits, not realizing that the second job that appears to pay less on paper actually gives a much more valuable compensation package in total. One of the biggest examples is the benefits of a 401k. A 401k plan is a retirement savings account sponsored by your employer. It allows employees to contribute a portion of their income to the account, but the best part of it is that many employers offer to match contributions that their employees make in their 401k account as part of the benefits package. This means that the employer will match a certain percentage of the employee's contribution up to a specified limit. For example, an employer might say that if you contribute 6% of your salary toward your retirement account, then the employer will contribute an additional 4% of your salary out of their own pocket. This means that for every dollar you contribute to your 401k, you actually receive $1.66 in your retirement account, which is instant gains of 66% on your investment. Matching contributions are essentially free money from your employer, and they can significantly boost your retirement savings. On top of that, you will be able to select an investment track for your 401k. And the earlier you start investing in a 401k, the more time that money will have in the stock market, which means that your retirement funds should grow with a great deal of compounded interest and will ultimately have a great deal of gains on not just the amount you put in it, but also the amount your employer contributed. The impact of these matching contributions is major. Let's illustrate this impact just for example purposes, okay? Suppose you earn $75,000 per year and your employer offers to match 100% of the first 3% of contributions that you make, which means if you contribute 3% of your salary, which is $2,250 to your 401k, your employer will also contribute an additional $2,250, bringing your total contribution for the year to $4,500. Assuming an annual rate of return of 7% in the stock market in a retirement fund, let's compare the growth of your contributions with and without employer matching over those 30 years. If you did not have an employer matching contributions on your retirement account and you just contributed alone 3% of your salary, which is $2,250 per year over 30 years, your cumulative contributions would be about $67,500, and at an annual rate of return of 7%, you would accumulate $227,414 over 30 years, of which compound interest makes up $159,914 of that future balance. But if you have an employer who matches an extra 3% toward your retirement account, in this case, you now have $4,500 per year contributed to the account. So your cumulative contributions over the years becomes $135,000 in principal, of which you actually only gave half. And then at a 7% return, that leaves you with $454,829 in the end after 30 years, which means compound interest makes up $319,829 of that balance. So if you don't have an employer matching contributions, you only end up with $227,414 after 30 years. But if you have an employer that matches 3% out of pocket, then you double your retirement funds and have a whopping $454,829 after 30 years, and only having contributed the same amount out of your paycheck in both cases. In both of those scenarios, you've only deducted the same exact amount out of your paycheck. The rest of the money came from your employer to help grow that to that level. Plus, this doesn't even account for the fact that your salary should go up over time, which should mean that 3% of your pay will actually mean that even more free money is being deposited into your account by your employer with every pay raise you receive in those 30 years. So in reality, your retirement fund could actually grow to more than $1 million, depending on how much you earn in pay raises over that time, what percentage match your employer offers on the 401k, and what the rate of return is, of course, in the stock market over that period of time. So you can see that not every job is created equal, and that 401k benefits can be the difference of having hundreds of thousands of dollars more in retirement. Additionally, health insurance contributes to your financial security and well-being. Without adequate health coverage, unexpected medical expenses could lead to financial hardships. In America, one single medical bill for an x-ray can easily put you in debt by $4,000. And obviously, if you have a major medical issue that requires continuous care, those bills will add up very quickly. And don't forget the benefits such as paid time off and parental leave policies are also crucial to your financial stability, as well as job satisfaction and work-life balance. If you fall sick and need to take leave, you want to make sure that you'll still be paid for that time. You don't want to suddenly have to worry that you have to work every single day with no time off, or else you can't pay your bills. Many people don't even consider paid time off when they're searching for a job, and then all of a sudden they find themselves working 6 months straight for an entire year without a single day of vacation because they don't even have the flexibility to go on a short trip to recharge and refresh. This can lead to burnout, health issues, and dissatisfaction in your career over the long run. There are many other benefits, such as being eligible for bonuses or receiving credit toward gym memberships, which can also increase your total compensation and eliminate monthly costs you may otherwise incur. So a job with attractive benefits can really increase your total take-home pay and your total savings over the life of your career, while also providing more flexibility to manage personal and family responsibilities, leading to greater job satisfaction, overall happiness, and more importantly, long-term financial stability. The next major career mistake that you should avoid on this list is student loans. I'm saying this as someone who took out a hefty amount of student loans. Taking out student loans can be considered a risky career move for several reasons. Student loans often come with high interest rates, which can result in significant financial burden. This debt can take many years to pay off, limiting financial freedom and causing stress for a huge chunk of your life. Now, the average student debt for 2016 graduates was around $37,172, but it is not uncommon for student loans to even be $200,000 or more, especially for someone who goes on to get a second degree. For example, after finishing my bachelor's degree in politics and then going on to get my Juris Doctor in law so that I could become a lawyer, I owed a combined total of about $150,000 US in student loans. If I took 10 to 15 years to pay that off, I would have to pay about $2,000 in post-tax income per month just to pay it off. And over the life of the loan, I would have paid closer to $300,000, which is like double what I borrowed, or potentially even more if I couldn't make such large payments every month and I had to spread it out over a longer time horizon. This is something no one tells you about student loans. This large amount of debt requires significant financial resources to repay, often over many, many years. With the pressure to pay off debt, you may feel compelled to choose higher paying jobs over positions that align more closely with your passions or career goals. This can lead to less job satisfaction and fulfillment in the long term. It can also lead to greater stress, anxiety at the thought of losing your job during market downturns, and many people who take out student loans end up living paycheck to paycheck, even if they are making six figures, because they may be paying more towards student loans each month than they are even paying for their own rent. the obligation to repay student loans can also delay other financial goals, such as buying a house, investing or saving for retirement. You might not have extra savings to put aside for a down payment on a home or towards investment accounts. If all your extra money is going towards student loans for your first decade or two straight out of school, which means you might not hit your lifestyle goals for a very long time until the investment in your career starts to finally pay off when you're about 40 years old. This can have long-term implications on individuals' financial and mental health. Also, if the chosen career path doesn't lead to a sufficiently high income, repaying student loans can become even more challenging, potentially leading to default and damaging credit scores due to excessive debt that is not sufficiently justified by the income you can actually make from the industry you're going to work in. For example, if you take out student loans to get a degree in an industry that is not known to generate a high income, that can be a crippling financial decision that sets you back financially for the rest of your life. A lot of people also forget to consider opportunity costs when taking out student loans. And all of the time and resources spent going to school, getting your degree, and then later working a job you don't enjoy to repay student loans, that could all have been time you invested elsewhere, like starting a business, working in the job market, and investing in the stock market. This concept was first explained to me by my older brother, who graduated from Princeton with no student debt. He then went straight from university to working in finance in New York City. After a couple of years, though, he was considering going to graduate school to get an MBA in the hopes it would open up new and more lucrative job opportunities for him in the future. But ultimately, he decided against it. And when I asked him why, he explained to me that even if he had gone to the most prestigious MBA program like Wharton, he would waste 2 to 3 years of his time, which would cost him 2 to 3 years of income that he could have otherwise earned during that same time. He would also lose out on any income he would have earned from investments he could have made with any savings he put aside during that same time. On top of that, he would have to take out 6 figures in student loans, and he would have to pay interest on that student loan over such a long time period that it would have actually ended up being 2 times the amount of what he actually borrowed. When you add all of that up, all that money lost and time lost, the cost of an MBA program didn't seem to be a sound financial decision when he could likely be equally successful in finance without getting an MBA. It's important to note, however, that this perspective is not universally applicable. For many individuals, student loans are a necessary step to access higher education and career opportunities that would otherwise be unavailable. For example, if you want to be a doctor or a lawyer, you may not have any other choice but to go to university, to even go on to get a second degree at graduate schools just to work in the field of your choice. The key, though, is to carefully consider the potential return on investment to ensure that you want to work in that field and the returns on your debt plus interest will justify the cost. You should also explore all available options for funding that education. Just remember, student loans have a major psychological impact on your life. The stress and anxiety associated with large debts can have a very negative effect on mental health and ultimately your physical health, impacting both personal and professional life. Another major career mistake on the list is getting your PhD in certain fields. Now, pursuing a PhD in psychology or academia can be a significant decision with serious negative financial impact on your career and finances. The most critical factor in deciding to pursue a PhD should be your career goals. PhDs are well suited for careers in academia, research, and certain high-level administrative jobs. However, for many other professions, a PhD may not offer a significant advantage over a master's degree or work experience. Additionally, careers in academia, research, and administration may not offer a high enough income trajectory to justify the potentially high cost of obtaining a PhD. In many cases, you will have to take out exorbitant sums in student loans across bachelor's, master's, and ultimately your PhD program just to finish all of the schooling. And even if you receive a scholarship and can obtain some of these degrees for little to no cost, you are still giving up the opportunity cost of sacrificing a full year of wages for each year that you study instead. For example, let's look at the costs and hurdles in pursuing a PhD in psychology. Although many PhD programs in psychology waive tuition fees, they still represent a significant investment in terms of time. Often taking 4 to 8 years to complete, these years could be spent earning a full salary somewhere else instead, but in contrast, master's degrees typically take much less time and might offer a better financial return on investment, especially when considering the opportunity cost of not working full-time during the PhD years. So you should really consider what type of career you can reasonably expect to have if you take this path, and make sure that the ultimate projected salary would justify all of that money, time, and opportunity costs that you will be spending on a career path like this one. There's also evidence that the market is oversaturated with PhDs in fields like psychology or academia, making it challenging to find a position that fully utilizes this level of education. Also, PhD programs in psychology are demanding and require a significant amount of time and effort, often involving years of focus on a single research project. This can be very draining, especially for students who do not enjoy the research process. While a PhD in psychology is versatile and offers the credential to teach at a college or university level, it's important to be realistic about the academic job market. The competition for a tenure-track position at a university is high, and there is no guarantee of job security once you secure an academic job. Psychologists with a PhD often earn only just above the national median salary, whereas other careers that require just as much or even less schooling, such as law, medicine, engineering, or finance, often offer higher salaries to the tune of hundreds of thousands of dollars per year for the same or less time invested. Additionally, some high-paying careers in psychology may only require a master's degree. Ultimately, the decision to pursue a PhD in psychology or other field of academia should be based on a thorough consideration of your personal and professional goals, financial situation, and the realities of the job market in your field of interest. Now, the last item on our list, but certainly not least, is neglecting physical or mental health or surrounding yourself with negative influences and engaging in excessive partying. These can all have a very detrimental effect on your career. Now, neglecting physical health, such as not getting enough exercise or sleep, can lead to decreased productivity and poor performance at work. Similarly, neglecting mental health issues such as anxiety or depression can impair cognitive function and decision-making abilities, affecting your ability to excel in your career. Poor physical and mental health can lead to increased absenteeism due to illness or mental health-related issues. And then, of course, being frequently absent from work can disrupt projects, delay deadlines, and strain relationships with colleagues and supervisors, ultimately hindering your career advancement opportunities. Employers may view these employees as unreliable or lacking commitment to their work. Ignoring physical and mental needs also increases the risk of burnout, and burnout can lead to decreased job satisfaction, disengagement from your work, and ultimately career stagnation or even premature departure from the workforce. On top of all of that, neglecting physical and mental health can have severe long-term consequences, including chronic health conditions, reduced life expectancy, and diminished quality of life in retirement. These health issues can disrupt career plans and financial stability in the long run. They may also increase your cost of medical care in retirement, while also reducing the number of working years you have to build up savings for the same retirement. There is a reason why most millionaires and billionaires prioritize their health. They understand it will lead to a greater overall success and greater overall happiness. Additionally, a failure to manage your physical and mental health may ultimately hinder your ability to start your own business. Not to mention, if you ever wish to start your own business, that will come with all new levels of stress. So it is important to build healthy coping mechanisms and healthy habits early in life. Surrounding yourself with bad influences can also hinder your career. There is a reason people say that you are the company you keep. If you spend all of your time with bad influences who live lifestyles that don't reflect what you want to achieve, odds are that you will adopt similar habits, jeopardizing your professional reputation and career prospects. Associating with negative influences can limit your exposure to positive role models, mentors, and career opportunities. Your professional reputation is also a valuable career asset. In extreme cases, associating with bad influences can expose you to legal and ethical risks, including involvement in criminal activities or fraud. Even if you're not directly involved, being associated with individuals engaged in illegal behavior can have serious consequences for your career and personal integrity. Similarly, excessive partying can interfere with your ability to fulfill professional obligations and meet job requirements. Hangovers, fatigue, and other consequences of heavy drinking or substance abuse can impair cognitive function, memory, and motor skills, affecting your performance at work. It also may lead to attendance and punctuality issues. But overall, excessive partying will just detract from time you could have otherwise spent on self-development, learning a new skill, building a business, or building an extra income stream. You should seek out friends who share these values and are interested in spending their time building and developing a career and positive life habits that lead to success, so you can all learn and grow together and inspire each other. Being surrounded by the right community can be what makes or breaks your future as a successful and wealthy individual. If you enjoyed this video and you want to see more like this, please subscribe to my channel down below. You should also watch this next video over here, which YouTube thinks you're really going to enjoy. Thank you all so much for watching.